Thank you for joining me today. Today I want to show you how to make Scottish pancakes. Scottish pancakes are a reasonably thick pancake. They aren't as thick as an American pancake made with buttermilk, but they're not as thin as a crepe. They're somewhere in between. So I'm just going to start showing you how these are made. So I've just set the cooker to 6, which is a medium heat, just to heat up the pan, as it's good to start with a hot pan. So here I've weighed out my ingredients, and in the jug I've got 125 grams of self-raising flour. And to that I'm just going to add one fairly large free-range egg. I think it's always best just to use a jug because that's what you're going to use later. So then I'm just going to put in some milk, and I've got 140 millilitres of milk, but I'm not going to put it all in at the one time. So I'm just going to start stirring that in. If you start stirring it fairly thick, then you can avoid having lumps. If you added all the milk at the one time, what would happen was that the flour would go into little lumps and you would have a very lumpy batter, which you really don't want lumps of flour. So I normally just mix it in bit by bit. So you see a bit of elbow grease just to go into that. Here's the sugar. So I'm adding 25 grams of sugar. I will add the ingredients at the bottom. A pinch of salt, just a few shakes, and that just helps with seasoning, and a little more milk. So as you see, just adding it bit by bit to avoid those lumps. And I really don't believe in taking out mixers and blenders just to make a simple batter. The point of the recipes that I share is that they're fast and easy, and you don't need a lot of equipment, and you can easily make these recipes for 1 or 2 people, or you can make it with children as well. So as you see, I've avoided adding all the milk because I do not want the batter to become too thin. So you're looking for quite a thick batter. I'm just showing there that the batter isn't very thin. It's got a bit of body to it. So this is just pure butter, and I'm just taking a little piece of butter and I'm going to just grease up my frying pan. Now you just have to watch your fingers. You have to have a thick enough piece of kitchen paper not to burn your fingers. Just be careful of that, especially if you have children. You would have to do that part if you were baking with children. So just making sure that's greased nicely. And I just pour the batter in. So typically these pancakes in Scotland aren't very large, as you can see. Again, not as large as a crepe, not as large as an American pancake. Traditionally, quite often they're served just cold with fresh butter. Buttered, they're quite often served up in tea rooms or cafes, and the type of treat that you would maybe get at a church meeting or a gathering. So when you pour the batter, you're waiting to see if bubbles form on the top, which you can just see here. So there's some bubbles forming, and it's very important not to try to turn the pancake until you see the bubbles forming and starting to pop. So when the bubbles have popped, then you just check slightly and then you can flip it over. So you can see there's a lovely golden brown colour, and when you turn it over, it quite often starts to puff up and rise. And the second side doesn't take very long. Most of the cooking is done on the first side, so it's not half as long as the first. So you have to be careful you don't leave it too long. So again, just sliding it under, you can just check it, and then popping it onto a plate. Now I've got on the plate 2 pieces of kitchen roll. The kitchen roll help the pancakes stay dry. If you put the pancakes onto a flat plate, they can become moist. So as you see, that's a pile of pancakes that I've made from this one batter. So I think I counted about 6 or 7 pancakes. Obviously you can make them larger, you would maybe get 5 or 6, smaller, up to about 8. And they're best served with nice fresh butter. And as you can see, I've got some ideas there. You can have maple syrup, Nutella, but to be honest, in Scotland quite often either on their own with butter or with just a lovely strawberry jam. So I hope you'll try the recipe. As I say, I'll put more information, I'll put the full recipe down below and some more information for you.